Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Amused Jester. My name is Junior. This is going to be a really short review, I think. This is Crazy Figure, 112 scale action figure, body of a girl. I got this from Big Bad Toy Store and I just checked the price on this one and I paid $39 for this one. Holy crap, did I really pay $39 for this one? I could have sworn maybe I paid like 20 bucks, but I'm looking at it. It said that I paid $35.99. I only mentioned that because I actually have on pre-order a 1/6 scale female body and it was $54. But anyway, let's open it up and see what's going on. Okay, we're back. And I had to put tape on those things because I wanted to make sure that we stayed PG for this figure. But now that I've opened it up, I see now why this is $35. Look at all the stuff that came with it. Two additional chest pieces that you can swap out if you want a certain body type. And count with me here. One pair that she's holding on to of hands. A second pair that's kind of like, what is that? Kind of like an okay holding thing. Two peace signs, gun holding hands. So that's already 4 pairs. A bunch of pairs here. That's 8 pairs of hands. Holy crap. Shoes that she can put on instead of the feet, and then an alternate hairpiece here that contains eyeglasses. What? So let me take her out. She does come with some sort of tank top clothing, which I think I'll put on because I gotta be careful doing this. This chest part is actually not hard rubber. It's actually it's not hard plastic. It's actually kind of rubber material. And let's see. Let me take this one out here. My tape is just painter's tape, so it comes off. Oh, here, I'll turn it around. See, look at this. It's rubber. And look at the interior. Yeah, that is weird. And in the meantime, I'm gonna let me put this down. Let me take her out. All right, so because the body, the chest part is kind of rubber, my painter's tape is not sticking well to it. So this is the tank top comes with it. No, that's the pants. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this right or if I'm gonna break it. So I'm assuming this is removable, right? The hands? Yeah. Yep. And just take this out because this is just a rubber sleeve. Yeah, there you go. And then put this one on. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about is that eventually, because this is rubber, it might crack and break. But still, I feel like this is more durable than it would have been if it had been the silicone, full silicone body. And even the medical grade one that they keep talking about, trust me, it also cracks and breaks. I'm just going to do this off camera really quickly. Oh, also in the breast area, this is hard plastic over here, so you kind of put the breast on top of this one. Which I kind of try to show you without going too risque about the review. Yeah, let's do that. And the rubber lining is thick enough so it's not like it's gonna rip while you're doing this. But I don't know if I would recommend doing this back and forth all the time. Okay, that was a pain in the butt to put in, but I got it in there good enough, just to cover things up. This is going to be hard to put back on because now I don't see the joint this one goes to. I think that's on already. No, it's not. Let's put this in the face first. Maybe that'll be better. I'm having a difficulty putting this back on, so I'll keep this part on the video and I'll just speed it up so you can see the difficulty of putting this back on. Okay, that's on, I think. I think that's on. I'm not entirely sure. There you go. Because I didn't hear that, the click. See? I didn't hear that on this side. Now we can talk about this figure. This is actually quite amazing. And what the heck? I got the hands backwards. Oh, he's falling apart. Wait, no, I didn't get the hand backwards. I did. There's no left and right on them. What can I say? And they're kind of interchangeable too. Alright, she's falling apart. What's going on? Okay, so these pigtails are in a ball joint, as you can see. And I guess since this fell off, we might as well replace that, right? With glasses. Right, so I've put on the clothing over here just to cover things up a bit. This is really hard to put on. It's really, really tight, but as you can see, it really hugs the body really well. Yeah, and I thought it might distort the rubbers a lot because of how tight it is, but no, it just went on very well. So let's look at the articulation in this one. I'm really quite impressed with this one. And as you can see, with this new hairpiece in the front, how they pulled it off with the glasses on there, that's really well done. The glasses are thin, but like really secure. Because of this rubber overlay of the chest and the pelvic region, it does things that are really quite impressive. So as you can see, it has a ball joint at the top that moves it, allows it to move by itself, has a lot of movement. Now underneath the rubber chest overlay on this one, there is actually a ball joint at the bottom of the neck here. What that basically means is that it gives you a lot more movement than before. However, because it's rubber, as you can see, it does tend to distort and bulge it a little bit. See how it bulges here on the side? Or maybe when I push it back, you see it a little bit more. But it's all hidden. So the compromise of having the joint hidden is that bulging effect. But it's because it's so small, some figure is so small, you don't really see it or notice it that much, right? And then of course, so it gives you all that range. That's really cool. I'm really impressed by how much it changes this rubber overlay on the chest and on the pelvic region. And I think it's a good compromise between having a full silicone body and joints that are exposed, because you get a lot of, it allows you a lot more articulation range. For example, on the shoulders, right? So you have full rotation on the shoulder, but look at how this skin is moving out of the way of the plastic so that it's not, because otherwise if this had been hard plastic, you wouldn't be able to do this. You'd have to move off to the side like that. But because of that rubber, you're able to move it. Also, these shoulder joints, because again it's on rubber and the way they designed it, notice that you can lift and lower this shoulder joint. The other thing too is because of that rubber overlay, watch how it's able to push the rubber out of the way and give you an almost cross movement of the arm. That's amazing. Now, with a full silicone body, you're able to do this. But again, the problem with the silicone body, even if they're using the medical grade kind, eventually it rips. This, you won't have to worry about that. Of course, you have to worry about that on these two parts, but it's not like when you do this, even if you hold this pose for a long time, you're not really causing a lot of stress on this part. A lot. You know what I mean? So again, for the articulation, rotation on the bicep, as you can see from this joint over here, and then the elbow, and then on the elbow, I'm going to call that as a full rotation or a full movement range. You just really can't beat that. I'm going to leave that off for now because that does keep falling off. Look at this range of movement on the joints on the wrist. That's just amazing. And you can barely tell there's an actual joint on the wrist peg over there. Of course, if they could do this would be so amazing if they can do that on all figures as well. Removing the hand, it's kind of scary because, oh man, look at how thin that peg is. It is kind of scary because I'm not really familiar with this company. I don't know how strong the plastic that they're using or anything like that, so it's really kind of scary. It's so thin, but it doesn't seem like it would break easily. And it's not the kind of plastic that bends. Man, this thing is really hard to put in there. And so the compromise, it's not the kind of plastic that bends like this, or with the lightsabers, but at the same time, because it doesn't have that give, it's really hard to replace. So again, that's kind of a compromise to having a more rubbery plastic, but more, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, oh, now I snapped it. Oh, well, it's not completely snapped. What happened was it came out of the joint. I think it's still usable. So what I'm trying to say is there's a compromise, right? I wonder if this is broken or it's still salvageable. I think it's still salvageable. What I'm trying to say is there's a compromise between the hardness of the plastic where it becomes brittle and breaks, or more malleable and it will survive. Now, the problem with this that happened right now is the socket that I'm experiencing on these hands are really, the plastic is hard enough that it's hard to put in. If you noticed when this thing was apart, the connections are really small. The peg is very small, but it didn't break. So when I saw that, I don't really panic that much because it's $35. Yes, it's expensive, but at the same time, I bought this just to see what's going on. And this one, as you can see, it's fighting me because of how tightness that socket is inside the hand and how firm the plastic is as well. So now that I know that it's prone to that it might pull off again, I'm basically just supporting this peg, and then I'm kind of screwing the hand in, being very careful because as I'm screwing this, it's so tight, I'm sure that it's forcing that socket over there too. And it's not exactly the same fit as it was before. It's still a little bit more. If I can find something that I could squeeze this into, like a pair of nippers, I guess, then I would be able to squeeze this in a little bit more. I think that's good enough. Okay, so that's live that you saw it almost breaking or coming apart. It's still kind of separate here. Like a pair of pliers to kind of squeeze this in, but Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, you saw that I was able to put it back in together again. Now, it's possible that I could have just as easily have snapped that connection and I would have been really bummed. But, we'll see what happens, right? So, so that's a lot of range of movement for. Damn, look at that. Look at how natural this thing moves. So there's a cut here, obviously because of the chest, rubber chest overlay that allows you this much movement. Man, oh man, that's amazing. This is, um, they're using a lot of different materials. Like this torso over here is not hard plastic. I'm almost gonna say that it feels like it's also another rubber overlay over here, but it's non-removable, and it's very tight to whatever skeletal structure they have in here. Because when I'm touching the surface of this one, it feels very much like the rubber overlay here on the chest, but there's no give to it. So it basically forms as a skin on top of whatever plastic they have on this one. So that's nice. Look at that. That's the range of movement as I play around with. Look at that. Now, of course, the good thing about this is you're able to pull off this kind of articulation. That's a good option to have. But of course, it's going to expose this hole over here that's being covered by the pants right now. But you can see there's a gap over there. And also, that's an unnatural bend over here at the back. So because it's rubber and because the rubber is very soft, you just got to make sure and push it back in so that it's wraps back up on the torso as well. As you can see right there. Okay. Now, the leg articulation, here's what the advantage that you saw on the top part of the chest overlay is also evident here at the crotch. Watch this. So usually, watch this part right here. This is the rubber overlay. Usually when you have the 1/12 scale Marvel Legends or Star Wars, you can kind of move it up to here, right? And then this part stops it because it's hard plastic. But because this is rubber, watch as it bends out of the way and allows you to do that much. More than 90 degrees. Look at that. And because it folds back, there's no gap that you see when you put it back in. That's freaking amazing. And not a problem moving out as well. I should have kept the pants off so you can, if for some reason you want this just basically warps around the plastic and hides it. There is a thigh cut over here that you're not seeing anymore. The knee joint over here is good enough. It's not the same thing as this one where it's fully articulated in full range. But I mean, what else do you need? Of course, I suppose I believe with a silicone body, you should be able to press this a little bit more. But that kind of a strain on that body would basically rip here. So this is good right there. And then, as you can see from here in the ankle, the way they sculpted it, right? There's actually movement. See how it moves forward on the peg itself, and then you have that much range of the ankle of the feet going down. Move it forward so you can increase the range going up, and of course it's got an ankle rocker and a toe joint. So that's really cool. Look at how much you're able to accomplish on this one. So I'm really quite amazed in this one for a figure that I bought just out of curiosity. Look at that. That's just wow. $35. But you have like how many pairs of hands? one, two, three, 8 pairs of hands. It basically covers all the range, all the hands you could possibly need. You know what the funny thing is with all these pairs of hands? It doesn't have a close-fisted hand. I just noticed that. Look at all the hands. What kind of hand is this one? Look at that. Oh, it's like, isn't that like a love you sign going on? I don't know. Jeez Louise. And this even has this, but it doesn't have a simple close-fisted hand like she's about to punch you. I guess you can use this for that, but that is so weird. Anyway, this is amazing. Amazing. For a figure that I got out of curiosity, I mean, yes, the sale price of $35. Look at how much you can waste that. $35 is a shocker. But compared to what? Compared to a McFarlane toy, that's $30. Yes, it's a comic book character. Yes, he's now coming up with for some of them at least, different face swaps. But man, oh man, compare this to that, it is unbelievable. In terms of height, let me pull out Indara over here, and I just noticed that Indara is actually sitting below 6 inches, so that might be accurate to the height of the actress. She is actually standing at around 6 1/4, but that's with the head bun going on. Here is a Marvel Legend comparison of Jean Grey. They're basically standing at around the same height. I have her chin kind of pointing up because the thing over there, but they're basically about the same height. But look at the proportions comparison between a Marvel Legends and this one. Of course, this is based off of a comic book character, so her physique is more caricaturized. Her, you can really see that she really has a really good figure, very natural looking. And comparing to this one, the only disappointing part in terms of sculpture for this figure is the hands or the arms. As you can see, the arms are basically just cylindrical in nature. There's actually no muscle tone going on in the biceps, while in the Marvel Legends there is. However, when it comes to the thighs, her thighs are actually much more natural looking, where it has a nice curve going on over here. Not as muscular as the Marvel Legends, and that's fine. That the silhouette that this figure does is very natural looking. So the only thing I would say is that on the side, the way they sculpted, this is too straight. There should be a bulge going on this way a little bit, so it's more natural. See how this thing is pushing in? That's because there is a rubber overlay on the torso as well. But I really like how this thing curves, or this one, what we call, I guess, like kind of like a low handle here. That muscle is defined there, so that's really good. This is really amazing. All right, let's do the value on this thing. Base price of 10 equaling to $35. The value on this one for something that I just bought out of curiosity is actually, I'll tell you this. So this is by Crazy Figure. It has a male counterpart, but unlike this one that has two other replacements for the chest style, has 8 pairs of hands, and a replacement for the hair and the rubber shoes. The male only has, I believe, 6 pairs of hands, does not have a replacement for the chest, so you can't have a wider chest. I don't know if it's got an upper rubberized body and the pelvis region. I hope a pelvic region. I hope it does. Does not have interchangeable hair. But it's only $25. Now that's a more manageable price for a custom figure. This is a custom figure, so I have to take that into the account of value. But that's not bad. The way the range of movement that you're able to get on this one is amazing. It's just really, really amazing. But it is $35 for a custom figure. It's a blank figure. There's no paint on the face. There's no paint on the hair. There's no connection whatsoever to a character or an intellectual property license like Star Wars or Marvel or DC or anything. But technically, if you want to, for a base body, if you want to customize, $35 is a lot because, like I said, I actually pre-ordered a 1/6 scale, that's 12-inch figure, for $54, and I think it should be. I'm gonna compare it later. Anyway, that's $54, and this is $34. But you have so much accessories, though. I am so impressed with this one. In fact, I'm so impressed with this one that I went ahead and pre-ordered or bought the male counterpart. Now, when that usually happens, it's because I I'm so satisfied with the figure that it compelled me to purchase another one out of curiosity. When something like that usually happens, it's usually a value rating of 14 to 15 for me. Kind of like it's a must buy. A must buy would be um, like it just compels me to buy because I'm so impressed with what I've gotten. So I'm gonna say this is a value of 15. Now, usually when I start going above 15 to like 18, 19, 20, that's when I start buying multiples of stuff. So if this is $35 and I'm not really into customization as much, I'm not really good at tailoring at this scale. I don't really, or tailoring at all. But I might use that for future projects. Like if like the J&D Studios 1/12 scale Star Wars has fabric clothing with an underneath body. I might transfer the clothing from there to the male body and all that stuff and add to the customization of it. But I don't know. We'll see. But and that's when I start buying multiples, and then the values above 17, 18. I really should adjust my value system. It's because from 15 to 20, it's a lot. But 20, I rarely go to 20. 20 is kind of like great, great, great value as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, but I'm going to rate this at value at 15. This is a really, really good figure. Or maybe I'll do it 14. Okay, let's do that. I'll do 14, which is almost, I'm going to say almost equivalent to a value of 15 because it made me buy the male counterpart. I'm only going to push down a notch because it is specifically for customizers and I'm not a customizer. Now, if I was a customizer, it might rate higher than 14 in terms of value because I can really, really see the application, the purposes of this one. Like you can, if you're really good, like The Amazing, the YouTube uh, content creator The Amazing would pull off so many nice poses with this one, like natural poses. Posing is not that easy because in order to pull off a natural pose, you need to understand how a body works, how it has counterbalances and everything. So, yeah, I can do a little bit, but not as good or natural looking as they would do. But yeah, crazy figure, 1/12 scale, girl figure, value of 14. Highly recommend. Highly, highly recommend for you to get. That's it for my review. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again soon on the next video. Bye.